Hello, 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 and hello again, once again, everyone. Today we're going to be doing another episode of the D-Rank Warriors, and today's Pokemon is Galarian Weezing on Fairy. So, Galarian Weezing on Fairy seems pretty weird, since most of the time Fairy either likes to be straight up HO, with either webs or just support from Grimmsnarl and Togekiss, or they can just be a bulky offensive type, especially since Hatterene is one of the best Pokemon on the type. And even Whimsicott seems to make a little bit more sense, since it has Tailwind and also has Memento to help assist Fairy in multiple matchups. But today we'll be looking at one of the more strange mons in Weezing. Now, I bet you're wondering, how the hell are you supposed to use Weezing on a mostly offensive type? Because this team does not, this type does not have a lot of good defensive synergy. That's what you would think, but I actually came up with something that could actually work, so let's take a look at it. So there's two sets I thought I could use on Weezing. This is the defensive set that I worked straight from Smogon, I'm not even going to lie to you. And it basically does exactly what it needs to do in Monotype as well. It just slowly outspeeds certain Pokemon, has a lot of defense, physical defense, which a lot of Pokemon on Fairy do not have, so this is actually a good trait. And it also just sucks up hits, uses Flamethrower and Will-O-Wisp. Flamethrowers to help the Ferrothorn, obviously. And also just a bunch of other steel types, not that it's killing most other steel types, but it does help a lot with like defensive steel types like Ferrothorn, as I mentioned. Defog is also pretty important because you could rely on Hatterene for your hazard control, but sometimes against Pokemon like Ironhead, Ferrothorn, and Bronzong, that can be really tough. So that's why Defog is ran on this Pokemon. Also, Levitate is used just to increase its defensive utility. Similar to why, as I mentioned in the last episode, similar to why Rotom is so good on Electric is because Levitate allows it to just come in on more things and just wall things better. Same reason for this Pokemon. You could get away with another ability if you wanted to, but not having that additional ground immunity would be quite annoying, and then it just dies to any ground type. So I think Levitate is still good, but you could use Neutralizing Gas on an offensive set if you wanted to. Misty Surge just isn't that good in comparison to Levitate because it's too situational, and even if you use Misty Surge on like a defensive set, it pretty much defeats the purpose because you want to put status on other Pokemon with this guy right here. So it just seems kind of pointless. But yeah, Levitate is very good on this Pokemon, and Neutralizing Gas could be an option on offensive sets. Speaking of offensive sets, let's talk about this set. Also, instead of using a Flamethrower, you could use Toxic on this, but I don't like having double status on my Pokemon because it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and it feels too passive, especially on Monotype, so that's why I have Flamethrower over it. You could also use Toxic Spikes if you wish, but as I said, I just don't like getting walled by Ferrothorn that hard, so I think Flamethrower is a better option here. Sludge Bomb, Strange Team, Fire Blast, and Toxic Spikes is for the slightly more offensive set, and this can work on more BO forms of Fairy teams. So it's pretty straightforward. You just spam your stabs, and then you also have Fire Blast. Strange Dream is also really good, 90 base power and 95 accuracy. It does have a bit low PP from what I would normally like, but the chance to confuse kind of makes it more worth it, to be honest. Because Confusion is still pretty strong, despite being nerfed. So, yeah. Also Fire Blast because Ferrothorn, and Sludge Bomb is just because it has stab in that, and Poison Fairy is... I wouldn't say it's one of the best offensive typings, but it's pretty decent. And it does hit quite a few things in the tier pretty well, so... Offensively, this Pokemon actually isn't that bad, but it's just a little too slow to work effectively. Especially on Fairy teams, and with no speed. So this is more of like a BO type of thing you would use. And even then, I probably would put like Will-O-Wisp over Toxic Spikes on this thing. But it is what it is. But anyway, we won't be using this set on the team I have today, because today, the team I have has the defensive set, and we're comparing it with Clefable. And this is the OU Teleport Wish Pass set. And actually, unfortunately, while this does mean I'm giving up rocks on Clefable, This set works really, really well against more slow, bulky teams, especially those without like super strong breakers, because Clefable is really, really tanky, especially, and pair that with WEEZING's ability to cripple physical attackers, and you got a pretty alright defensive core. And you also have other Pokemon that can help out with you, and Mimikyu, Gardevoir, and Togekiss are all really big threats, and Hatterene is obviously one of the most obnoxious Pokemon in the game, so you have like really good assisting teammates to help like break down threats to your Pokemon, especially like Gardevoir with Trick, basically working down walls and making it easier for these guys to wall and Wish Pass, especially to Clefable, because Clefable is kind of like the bread and butter for this team. All it does is just use Wish in front of a special attacker, teleport out, and then go to either Weezing, Hatterene, or any Pokemon that's just low on health. The reason I have heavy duty boots on Togekiss here is because since we don't really have like hazard removal, well actually we do have hazard removal, but because we don't have like our own rocks, and because it's like not easy to come in all the time, I just figured that might as well just have something to deal with rocks for Togekiss. Also, it's not going to be using leftovers, but I probably should use Babiri Berry just so it can check steel types better, so we'll just change that real quick. And since we do have Hatterene, it does make it easier to deal with Stealth Rock. But I would personally prefer having leftovers since we are like a more slow setup set, but it is what it is. And lastly, we have Mimikyu, nothing special about him. I'm not using Drain Punch on this set because we don't really need Drain Punch, considering we have Clefable and Weezing to pretty much take care of Tyranitar and Bisharp pretty well. Especially Bisharp, because Bisharp's pretty weak to Flamethrower plus Will-O-Wisp from Weezing here. So yeah, I have a few replays of this team before we move on, so let's take a look. So first replay we have is against Stallwater, and this is where you're going to really see how good this core is. So Stallwater isn't really that viable, but clearly it's still annoying for certain people to run into. But yeah, as you can see, also I misplayed for the first couple of times here, except for here. This was fine, this play was fine. But yeah, I take down Mantine. Oh, and I also forgot to mention why I use Psyshock on Hatterene. Hatterene can chunk certain walls really well with Psyshock, so that's why I use it over Psychic, because it just hits really, really hard. And it's kind of surprising like how strong it can be. But yeah, Gardevoir basically forced a trick here, and because there's no Mega Evolutions or any items that can't be knocked off, I take one item from that stall team regardless, and I take his Black Sludge. Now normally I would think, okay, Gardevoir's pretty screwed now, because it's burned and it has Black Sludge, but because we have Wish Clefable, I can actually just bring it back to life whenever I want to. As you can see, Hatterene is being annoying here, and I misplay here because I thought Psyshock would do more damage, but actually Dazzling Gleam will do a lot more. Clefable gets burned. That's good for Clefable because that is the best stats ailment it could have. Well, yeah, pretty much. That and Toxic. We teleport out of here, go straight into Gardevoir, and bam, we instantly got our life back. Also, we see here that he's actually innards out and he's not unaware, which is very good for us, because that makes it easier for Hatterene to wall it out. And since we don't have Toxic, it would have been really, really hard for us to take this Pokemon down. So we end up healing Lantern here, but that's not too big of a deal. Yeah, I still keep clicking Psyshock, but eventually I learned that Dazzling Gleam just does more damage to him. Actually, no, I was predicting Toxapex to come in here, because Dazzling Gleam was obvious, but obviously he's very stubborn and he thinks Quagsire is going to wall me the entire time. But yeah, I'm going to switch into Hatterene, heal it fully since its leftovers were knocked off. I can just spam Calm Mind really fast. And even though it seems pointless, it does help against the other Pokemon, and that's why I'm mainly doing it. He can't Encore me because Magic Bounce is one of the best abilities in the game. I still think he's going to go into Toxapex, but he doesn't. So then, eventually, I decide, okay, screw it, we're just going to click Dazzling Gleam now. So we click Dazzling Gleam, does a whopping 54, that means it 2-hit KOs Quagsire. Still expecting him to go into Toxapex, but he just does not do that, ever. Also, Psyshock would have been really good to hit Lantern with here, because as we highlighted in the previous video, Lantern's not that good with physical bulk. We chunk his Rotom instead. We probably could have stayed in and done more damage, but I decided to switch out and not push my luck. Especially since he could have been Trick, which is what I was mainly afraid of. But yeah, now we know he's not Tricked because of Protect. We healed back Hatterene, and yeah, basically, Clefable's super annoying with this, because it basically just means that you can try and hit it, but it won't matter what you do, because he'll just heal back one of its Pokemon to near full anyway. And that's why this set is so very potent. It's not the best, because Fairy as a type just struggles against a lot, especially Steel and like Poison moves in general, because not even Weezing can help out with that. And yeah, we weren't afraid of Innards out because we had Clefable, and Clefable can literally just Wish, teleport right out, takes the damage, and then just heals Hatterene nearly up to full. As you'll see here, well actually no, we don't get to teleport out here because he used Encore, which is unfortunate for me. But yeah, you basically get what happens for the rest of this game. We just Wish Pass, Hatterene gets fed, and we just destroy his team completely. But yeah, that's what happens. And we got a Fairy Ditto here, and you get to see once again how the Clefable set helps a lot. And this Clefable set is only able to work because we have a physical wall and Weezing to help us out. So that's why I personally think Weezing is actually kind of decent, because it allows like a more creative take on Fairy. But yeah, yeah, you saw it right there. I was able to Wish past the Togekiss. Even though I didn't use Teleport there, I could have used Teleport, but I didn't want to take more damage. And yeah, Togekiss was at 11 before, and now it's absolutely fine. So basically, this set allows you to be more reckless with your more offensive Pokemon, and then you could just Wish them back to full health. Assuming, of course, they don't get statused, but that's fine if they do. Because then I still have the option to put Healing Wish on Gardevoir to help out with that, but since Gardevoir is one of our key Pokemon, I probably don't want to do that. But yeah, I trick his Clefable, and after that, the game is just pretty much, I just spam him. But yeah, that's how this team works, essentially. And I don't really feel like I need, because those replays were so descriptive, I don't really feel like I need to do any live battles to show just how potent this set is. So it's going to be a rather short episode, and because of that, I'll just let you guys off for today. So yeah, that's why I think that this team is actually pretty decent. I might actually use it in a real match one of these days, but definitely not now, because obviously this video is going to come out very soon in the middle of seasonals, so I'm not going to use it then, but I'll definitely use it sometime, just not now. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, subscribe for more, and yeah, just have a great day, guys.